I actually, I got this because I don't know, maybe I was just fortunate, but it was actually super important to be part of a community of practice. So when I first started adjuncting, I got to work with Sarah and a couple other great ESL teachers at Wright State. And I felt like it continued my master's degree where I was kind of being like apprenticed, or I was the apprentice, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Like they were mentoring me. And so I got to see how they would do it and collaborate with them on making assessments and talk about classes. And I felt like that model was so helpful in helping me better extend my education, because I felt like even though I got my master's degree, I was like, I'm still not 100% comfortable doing this all by myself. I want to make sure that I run stuff by other people so that it sounds, it is pedagogically sound or whatnot. And I think that for teachers who are going into a K-12 field, that can be pretty challenging if they're the only ESL teacher in their whole school or in their whole district. But there are virtual communities of practice that some teachers are a part of, and professional organizations are a great place to find those communities of practice. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, I really need a community of practice, put your comments, put some comments in the video below, and I'll try to link you up with some resources. Julie, did you have much community support, like a community of practice when you started, or was it just you?
In other countries?
Well, yeah, because
yeah, I started in other countries. So when I first went abroad, like I said, it was more like a student teaching opportunity. And I went with like 4 or 5 other student teachers. So we had each other. And yeah, fortunately, yeah, they're a very talented group. So I was able to learn a lot and be able to collaborate a lot. My year abroad, definitely not. I mean, I had way more training than my supervisor was like the relative of the principal and was actually professionally trained as a chef, but just happened to, speak English at a native level. We also like all lived together in the same apartment. There was other teachers, and we all lived together. It was this that's a whole other video.
Yeah.
And so also adjuncting too, I mean, it would depend on the school, but really you could ask a question real fast, but everyone's so busy. So one school I worked at in particular they had a great resource library, and they had really talented people. So you could, pop in and ask them a question if you had to. They had that kind of collaborative mentality. A night school I worked at was complete opposite. It was a school that had literally no expectations of what I taught them, or SLOs really. So that was kind of freeing in a way, because that's where I got to do my experimentation the most. I was like, I can really do whatever I want. So that's kind of where I learned about, it was with and they're all adult learners too. So that's where I learned the most about seeing what their expectations were, seeing what their needs were.
Yeah.
And being able to meet those and also push them a little bit.
Yeah. So
I had one class.
Was it a structure where it was like there was no curriculum, and so the curriculum could be whatever you wanted it to be?
Yeah, there was a book, but no real curriculum. So they just said everyone had the same book in the book series, but you also had like 4 hours to fill. And like you could have done the entire, like one book in 4 hours. And it was night school. And really it was kind of it was more about going to school so you could have a student visa versus actually learning English. I remember there was this one class, they almost had a mini revolt because I didn't follow the book.
Oh.
So they did it before, and then they did a thing, and I started doing different things. I didn't just follow through the book religiously. Because I was there, it's supposed to be that like it's supposed to be a higher intermediate course. So I'm like, let's do some just free flow discussion and, other kind of communicative activities. And there was like this older gentleman who's kind of like the grandfather of the group. And they came to me about it like after the first week, and I, explained why, and we did it more. And then the next day he announces, he's like, all right, we've decided but you're right. It's okay that we don't follow the book. It's good. But he declared it so. And so that was actually that was the very last class I ever taught at that school. And they actually they were very sweet. They gave me like a going away party. Like we went to a restaurant and they gave me a card with a gift card in it and flowers and took pictures.
Nice.
So yeah, so also that's kind of why I got into the profession too, is because you get to bond with people in a way. And I think with ESL especially, you're kind of each other's temporary family. You know what I mean? For a time, because when I was living in Chicago, I had one family member there, but not everyone. So you kind of become each other's surrogate family in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both for you, for them, you kind of have that. They kind of see you in kind of a parental role almost, no matter what the age differences are. But and it goes both ways, it goes both ways. So that's definitely a reason why I keep teaching, why I why I enjoy the job that I do.